apparently. The private information about thousands of students and parents was accidentally released at South Washington County schools. Document containing the private data was attached to an email to parents that was supposed to contain only their own children's transportation information, your school bus schedule for the upcoming school year, and all the private information of more than 9,600 students was released. District did respond in an email to parents and on social media last night saying it is aware of the release of information. The district apologized for the mistake, said they're addressing the situation. Now, that document attached to the email was a giant spreadsheet that contained student names, home addresses, their home school, had parent names, phone numbers, email addresses, and then it had student busing information, including the pickup, the drop-off time, the location, the bus route, and the description. The FBI hopes a reward helps catch the culprit behind a Twin Cities mosque bombing. Someone set off a pipe bomb type device just before morning prayers earlier this month at Dar al-Farouk Community Center in Bloomington. The explosion caused extensive damage. No one was hurt. The FBI just announced a $30,000 reward for information leading to a conviction of the bomber. So if you know anything, call the police.
The fallout continues from President Donald Trump's refusal to place blame for the violence in Charlottesville, Virginia on white supremacists. Overnight, in the same place as Saturday's deadly attack, people gathered for a vigil preaching peace and tolerance. A memorial service for Heather Heyer was held yesterday. The 32-year-old was killed when a car rammed into a group of counter-protesters.
Just don't want this anger and hate in our town.
Being here tonight was a way of really reclaiming the city.
President Trump continues to face bipartisan criticism for claiming that both sides were to blame for the violence. Nearly a dozen high-profile corporate leaders quit the president's Business Advisory Council, including the CEO of 3M. The president disbanded two of those advisory groups yesterday. He'll remain at his resort in Bedminster, New Jersey through the weekend.
A new report blames misunderstandings and, quote, weak leadership from football coaches for last winter's Gopher boycott. Student athletes threatened to not play in a bowl game after the University of Minnesota suspended 10 of their teammates. Some of those players had been accused of sexual assault. Former head coach Tracy Claeys backed the boycott and was later fired. A law firm was asked to review what happened. It found that the U complied with applicable law and policy with respect to its student conduct code process, and the university provided substantial due process protections for the athletes during its investigation. The U ultimately suspended or expelled 5 Gopher players for sexual misconduct. None of those players was charged with a crime.
New data shows more people are having trouble paying off their student loans. The Consumer Protection Bureau reports that more than 40% of borrowers owe $20,000 or more. 16% owe $50,000 or more. At least half of all borrowers don't start paying off their student loans until they're at least 35 years old. And you think about the interest that happens in that 10
years.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
Oh, boy.
But
okay.
No, they're not making enough money. I mean, what do you expect, right?
You can't do anything about it.